Hi, it's Yvonne Dalorto at Purple Pulpo, and welcome to my Zoompod. And I have done information videos before, and I'm going to continue with these. They're like a podcast, but it's a visual pod, so you can actually see what I'm talking about. So today I'm going to look at more free resources from Jolly Learning UK. And I have mentioned these before. These are wallpapers that come in two sizes, and I have used them as an I Spy, and this is also a good way to get an assessment of children's cross-curricular knowledge, what vocabulary they have, initial sounds, end blends, onsets and rhymes, verbs. There's a huge amount of learning that can go on with these. But also, I'm going to look at them today in a completely different way, which is looking at them for stories. So I've picked one illustration which has a lot of information in there, a lot of activity, so the children can be busy looking at what this story could be about. And clearly it's by the beach, but what has happened, what's been going on. But I'm going to make it a little bit more clearer for children to understand what I want them to do. So I have this template. The template can be on a smart board, or on their pads if they're using this at home, or laptops. So usually for children, it's a combination of understanding the beginning and the middle and the end. And generally, children are very good with the beginning. They're okay with the middle, but the end can often be a difficult thing. They just don't know how to finish. And also, we're using a familiar theme, the characters that they know. And if they've used any of the storybooks, they will know the story about the beach. So it doesn't matter if they kind of copy that. We just want them to expand. And it's a good idea with this visual in the middle to talk about what do you think happened before and then what do you think happened after, so they can get the trajectory of the story. And this could be great for group work or paired work, and as a teacher you could be scribing some of their ideas on the board. Now if it's really young children, it'll just be all about an oral story, but then it's good about them listening and remembering the sequence by their listening skills. So if we think about what we're going to talk about, what happened before, so we're still going to keep the image there and focus on this part. And it's a good way to revise the past simple, irregular verbs, linking ideas and thoughts, because it has to connect to the central illustration. And as I mentioned before, we have all of these things here that can be included. And then we move on to what happened after. And so here, again, it's a good idea to get children thinking of the possible scenario of what happened after. So again, it could be using, I'll just move this down, future simple, using the continuous tense. Now remember, we tend to talk in the present continuous, and so it's good that children can hear the changes of the verbs, especially with irregular verbs, continue the story. And more than that, it's about thinking of the ending. Does it make sense? And can the story be improved? Now, the story being improved is something you go back to for an error correction activity, looking at your first draft and moving on to a second draft. And these are all skills that work on this spiral of going up to a simple story and then making it bigger and improving on it. And of course, it depends on the age of the children that you have. If you're working online, this is a wonderful way to be clear on what you want children to do. It's something that you can make a small PowerPoint like this and leave it with them, and they have the prompts here on what they need to do. So I've used this before very successfully, and of course it can be used as part of the blended learning approach or the flipped classroom approach. And more than anything, you're giving a cue, a visual cue, so children can build on something. It's very difficult for children to create stories without some guidance to begin with. So I hope there's a little bit of help with this free resource that you can download. And please stay tuned for more Zoom pods with lots of information that I hope will help you through the crisis of the pandemic, and also teaching online or giving you ideas for your classroom. Bye for now, and keep in touch with Purple Pulpo and Zoom pods. Bye for now.